Hello and welcome to a new devlog for Darkest Day, Brightest Night. This will be the devlog for April and March, the end of March, and will be the only one for this period. Reason for that is that not that much progress has been made on the game. I have been working on some other stuff, and the holidays were here as well. Had to take a week off. Moved my entire setup to a different room. Did a lot of cleaning, stuff like that. Took up a lot of time. Will take up a lot more time since I'm still not done. Anyway, I did make some progress, so that's why I'm making this devlog. Keep you informed as well. So I started on designing a bunch of the stuff for level design. Trying out schematic of the island the first chapter happens on, and designing the buildings that you go through. Some other stuff as well. Plotting out the player path throughout the environment. All kinds of different stuff. I have also started working on attacks, like I said I would. And it's a lot more complicated than anticipated. So I've decided on 24 different attacks. 12 for every type of your player character. So you have the normal and the infected type, or the corrupted type rather, and they will each have 12 different attack variations. These are divided in 3 categories: basic attack, advanced attack, and defensive, for which you have 3 buttons that you'll use. Which specific attack the player will perform depends on how you're moving. Standing still and jumping will give 2 different attacks, for example for basic attacking. Standing still will be a boomerang-like energy projectile, while jumping will just shoot it in a straight line, rather. Stuff like that. After designing all of those different attacks, I also started implementing them. And I am struggling a bit, because the path of the projectile is a cat-ball-rum spline. Basically, it follows a set path through specific coordinates. However, because the player is constantly moving and the projectile needs to return to the player, those coordinates change, and it's causing some issues. Cat-ball-rum splines are extremely complex to implement, and it's worse when you actually need to modify them. Anyway, that's the current path. It's definitely not what I intended to be, but at least it travels along a custom path, and as you can see, it will follow the player if you move. However, there is a distance limit. As you can see, the program simply crashes if you walk too far. I'll have to implement the dynamic system to create additional paths for the projectile to travel, but that's for later. As you've also noticed, I have been working on something else, namely the camera controller. That's the object that handles resolution, window sizes, how much you see in the game, all stuff like that. And the original object I had in place was a placeholder. It had no functionality. It was a simple, this is window size, and you see this part of the world, and you will follow that object. Very simple, allowed me to test the level, actually see the game and stuff. And I replaced it with an actual functional object. This thing does a lot of things automatically, and also has a lot of other functions that I can use. For example, the player is actually able to change his resolution, as in the window size. That will be implemented as soon as I start working on menu systems, but the functionality is there. I did run into some trouble with that though. As you've noticed, the window has no border. This is because Game Maker Studio has this iffy relationship with borderless windowed. This is borderless windowed. It's not full screen. Full screen actually overrides your entire monitor, while borderless windowed is an actual window that's just the size of your monitor. If I keep the border around it, your taskbar keeps showing on top of the game. Removing the border also removes the taskbar rendering on top of the game, but you cannot drag your window around. So I'll have to add in an extra API to fix that issue. Another thing I've decided upon is that people will not be able to manually scale their windows. That won't work with how the game scales, and that will be permanently disabled. So the window size will simply be affected by the resolution you set. And maybe a maximize window feature if I can get it to work. Anyway, the other thing the camera object did, or most important part of the camera object, is the fact that I've decided on a view resolution. That's basically how many pixels in the game world is scaled to your window size. Window is pretty small right now, but the part of the game you're seeing is in reality much larger. It's scaled down. And I started with going with True HD 1920 by 1080, but because of some scaling issues, stuff being a bit blurry, I doubled that in size. It's meant that the tile size was also doubled from 128 pixels per meter, it's now 256. And that allowed me to actually finalize scale within the game, which is an important part for later in this devlog. The last thing the new camera system does is it will automatically zoom in on the player to prevent the player from being able to see outside level boundaries. As you can see, the level is this small room, and it is smaller than what you're supposed to be able to see. However, because you do not want to see outside of the level, the window is, or the view rather, is automatically zoomed in on the player character. If I were to move to a bigger room, the camera also would zoom out a bit. Now, with finalized scaling in the game, with the actual resolutions being set, I could start on level editing. And let me tell you, when you normally create a level for a game, you will design the level, playtest it, adjust the level, playtest it, make it balanced and fun and look appealing, stuff like that. And you'll make it fit a certain theme. That's how you normally create a level. I'm not normal, I'm pretty crazy, and I had a pretty crazy idea. I drew a blueprint of the entire building your character travels through. And then I drew the path the player takes throughout the building. And then I measured every section of that path and converted the measurements into in-game pixel sizes. And then I created rooms for every one of the sections. Each of these rooms is the size of a section of a path you travel throughout the building. They're currently completely empty, but they're already correctly scaled. So all I have to do is put in walls, floors, debris, stuff like that, environmental items, in the same spot as they are on the blueprint, and I'll have an actually realistic level, because the actual building blueprints will be scaled down to for the level. It is a very strange thing to do. It is a lot of work as well, but it will feel a lot more realistic and will make a lot more sense. Buildings won't be extremely big or extremely weirdly shaped or architecturally unbalanced. It'll actually be a very realistic environment this way. But yeah, that does take a lot of work. So, yeah. The last thing I did regarding the project was I finalized the Discord server. It is though public. Join link is on the Facebook page, and well, you can just hop in the Discord. I'll post updates and stuff in there. I also have my beta testers in there. They have access to a specific set of channels with more information. It's hidden from regular people. Aside from that, I also made a Trello page to track my progress. I'll keep it up to date constantly, so you can easily follow what I am working on and what I have completed. Trello page itself is not entirely finished yet. As soon as I've come up with more things that I need to add to it, I'll add them to it. But well, it's a good way to track my progress, my overall progress. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this devlog. Next one will be in a couple weeks probably, if I'm able to actually continue working on it. And I hope you all stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.